Good afternoon, I'm Herman Green with the Midday News. A special welcome to those of you watching on onespotmedia.com. A reminder as well that you can download our One Spot Media app in the Google Play Store or the App Store. That's the number 1, followed by the word Spot Media. After months of trying to retrieve the performance bond, which was paid over to O'Brien's International Car Sales and Rental for vehicles for the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, the government is still has not collected the money. This as the insurance company holding the $42 million performance bond still has not made the payment. TVJ News has learned that the company has until this Friday to return the money to the Ministry of National Security. This is the second attempt by the government to get back the money after the deal with O'Brien's International turned sour when it failed to fulfill the obligation to supply cars for the JCF. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Diane McIntosh, gave an update at the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee meeting this morning. The car company had asked for a waiver on the duties before telling the government the vehicles would cost more than originally agreed. The government has refused to grant the waiver. There is more concern about the brazen and vicious violence in Montego Bay, St. James after yesterday's shooting in the vicinity of the Sangsters International Airport. The police were again kept busy as high-powered weapons barked, leaving one person dead and 3 others hospitalized. Reports are that 33-year-old Desmond Clark, otherwise called Dangles, 2 other men and a child were traveling in a silver Nissan Tida motorcar along Sunset Boulevard shortly after 4 Tuesday afternoon. They reportedly made a stop at a car rental company when a gray Toyota Yaris motorcar drove up and 4 men armed with AK-47 rifles alighted from the vehicle and sprayed the Tida motorcar with bullets. Clark died, the other 2 men are hospitalized, and the child escaped unhurt. About an hour later, it was more bloodletting. Another man was shot in the vicinity of the roundabout leading to the airport. He received 4 gunshot wounds to the upper body. He is in hospital. Police say the incidents are as a result of a long-standing feud between the Uptown and Down Sparta gangs in Flanker. A 48-year-old laborer employed to Surge Island Dairy drowned in the Negro River in St. Thomas Tuesday afternoon. Dead is Lincoln Taylor, a resident of Seaforth in the parish. According to reports, at about 1:30 p.m., Taylor was seen partially clothed lying on the riverbank by a tractor driver who was working in the riverbed.
When I come back, I happen to see like a person in the water rolling naked as a devil. So I said to myself, why this man are rolling in the water like this? So stop and I penetrate him now, and roll up across the tractor, going down the stream. And when we look at him now, I say, well, like, him not respond now. So we jump over the tractor and run across and hold him by one hand and draw him out to the land side.
The police were later called. It is believed that Taylor went to bathe when he got into difficulty and drowned. A St. Lucian male was arrested by detectives assigned to the Narcotics Division following the seizure of 1 pound of cocaine at the Falmouth Pier in Trelawney on Monday. Reports are that about 4:30 p.m., security checks were being conducted on passengers and crew members returning to the cruise ship that was docked at the pier when the man was searched and the illicit drugs found in his possession. He was subsequently arrested. The cocaine has an estimated street value of over $500,000 Jamaican dollars. The identity of the man is being withheld pending further investigations. A massive breakaway at Isleworth in Rio Grande Valley near Berrydale in Portland is to receive immediate attention from the National Works Agency NWA as the land has broken about 200 feet from the road into the Rio Grande River. The breakaway, which occurred during the recent heavy rains, worsened on the weekend. It has taken a section of the rail and left cracks in the road, threatening the lives and livelihood of residents in the area. The area was toured by a team from the National Works Agency, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Daryl Vaz, and Member of Parliament for Portland Eastern, Dr. Linville Bloomfield. Mr. Vaz said due to the danger posed by the road after the final inspection is conducted, drivers of trucks will be advised whether they can continue using it. He says a surveyor should be in the area. area today.
line, but an estimate that I can present to the Minister and the CEO of NWA. This so far is the #1 priority that we have seen at this point, but it's still early days yet, and as I said before, what we're going to try and do is prioritize the areas that are posing serious danger to life, and also remembering that the raftsmen, this is their livelihood, so we would not want a situation where the road is impassable and therefore the tour buses and the residents would not be able to access Berrydale, the district of Berrydale.
Senior engineer at the NWA, Sean Smith, outlined what will be done in the interim to protect motorists.
I realize that heavy traffic especially, can further cause damage to the roadway. So I have spoken to the parish team, and we have all agreed that not too long from now, we'll be providing or putting up some form of a barricade along where we stand. And that is really to have the motorists, the ones who decide to be obedient, to keep more to the bank, as opposed to drive over that side to cause vibration, which will further cause undermining. So that is what we stand right for now.
Mr. Smith says another breakaway which occurred at the grants level during last week's heavy rains will be addressed in the medium to long term. It's time now for a look at what's coming up in this evening's health report.
Dengue fever is a disease caused by a virus carried by mosquitoes.
The characteristic thing about it is you get a rash, severe pain, high fever, and in a small number of cases you get what they call hemorrhagic dengue, where you have serious bleeding which can be into the brain and various other organs. And that's the one that tends to be a killer.
Symptoms can start anywhere from 4 days to 2 weeks after being bitten by an infected mosquito and typically last for 2 to 7 days. There is no specific treatment available for dengue fever. Mild cases are managed with lots of fluids to prevent dehydration and getting plenty of rest. Pain relievers can ease the headaches and pain associated with dengue fever. However, vaccines are now being tested for dengue.
And they're now working on a vaccine, various companies are working on vaccines, which have had a positive impact as far as reducing the number of cases. But if you get it after the vaccine, it can be, the risk of getting hemorrhagic dengue is greater.
Meanwhile, the only way to prevent dengue is to avoid being bitten by mosquitoes.
Making sure that there's no breathing spots, pouring oil onto any stagnant water, using mosquito nets, putting nets around the house, putting mesh around the house, and sometimes using insect repellents, rubbing it on the skin. And sometimes they said wearing dark clothing tends to attract them.
Some pain relievers, such as aspirin, should also be avoided, as this can make bleeding more likely. With your health report, I'm Shamala Mitchell wishing you good health.
We go down to sports. Coach of Cavalier SC, Rudolph Speed, says the mishap which saw goalkeeper Jadine White missing the recent U.S. Major League Soccer Caribbean Combine is no fault of his administration. White reportedly failed to reach in time for the Combine after encountering flight difficulties, while attacking player Alex Marshall returned home before the completion of the camp.
Former reggae boy, now coach Tyrone Marshall, has criticized the local clubs over the handling of players after Jadine White showed up late for the MLS Combine last week.
The Combine was supposed to be the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and he came up on the Thursday. The Combine finishes on the Thursday. So it's either somebody didn't, the club information wasn't given properly, or they didn't get his flight done, or whatever it was. Something was missed along the line. And, with that being said, the guy didn't reach at the Combine at all, so we didn't see him.
But what was the reason for White's absence?
I received my passport from the embassy Tuesday afternoon, and then when I went to the airport, when I booked my seat on the plane and the seat was reclining while paying for it, and then I went back 3 o'clock the Wednesday morning, and the lady told me that the seat not working. So I decided to say, hey, I still have to go in because I have to go at least talk to somebody there. And I went there and I talked to the personnel, and actually it was worth the time that I went there.
The AFF didn't know about Jaden White either. So whosoever invited him, they really don't understand the rules of the game. And I strongly believe that there was an agent who was really trying to steal the player away from us, trying to impress the player, and did the thing wrong, and then it backfired on them, and they are trying to put the blame on the club, but it wasn't true.
The mishaps of the combine didn't stop with White.
I left before it was finished, so they didn't get to see me or anything.
Why did you get the leave before?
My ticket was booked before the final training session, so none of the coaches that got to see me and talk to me about my game.
The letter that we got from MLS said that he was supposed to return on Thursday evening, and that's what we did. Now, maybe they decided to have a training session at the end, but they didn't tell us. No, they can't. I must tell you, those people, they can't even arrange a Sunday school.
Yeah, yes, it's disappointing, but everything happens for a reason. So all I have to do is just continue to work hard, and hopefully I get more opportunities.
White and Marshall were 2 of 4 players who were set to take part in the combine held in Fort Lauderdale last week, with the others being O'Neal Anderson of Arnett Gardens and Malik Foster of Portmore United. Renard Brown for TVJ Sports.
And that's the Midday News. I'm Herman Green. Join us at 7 for the primetime news package. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, good afternoon.